Hello, good evening, and welcome to Leadership Conversation by Toala Europe. It's such a wonderful, wonderful opportunity, to be back again on this broadcast and with all our friends, network associates all around the world. Thank you so much for your support and for being part of this program on a weekly basis, and also being part of our subscribers who have joined consistently, to be part of what we're joining others to do within the context of our world as well, especially around the subject of leadership. So, welcome once again. And I want to encourage as many people who are joining. If you're joining for the first time, please subscribe to the channel and also click on the notification bell as well so that you can get alert from us when these programs come up as well. We want you to also invite, share with your friends, share with your associates, your colleagues, or your business network and things like that. Please do share this link with them. Leadership is our responsibility. Leadership is our assignment. Leadership is everyone's business. And from our broadcast over the last few months, I think a lot of people would have picked up that as well, that every one of us, we are all part of leadership. So we welcome all our guests. I can see my dear Prof, all the way from Africa. Thank you so much. Thank you for your dedication, for your continuous support, joining us week on to week like this, and your encouragement is just so fantastic. Thank you so much. And I believe we're going to have a fantastic time tonight, even though our technology has been playing a whole lot of interesting tricks on us. However, you always get around it somehow. And all through the month of March, we have been talking about leadership in Africa, which is also spilled over to the month of April as well. Because listen, friends, listen to this, and I want you to really get me right. That leadership, rather not leadership, Africa. Africa is the last world. It's a developing world, however, it's the last world. All the potential, all the resources, all the untapped resources are hidden in the place called Africa. And you will notice that everybody is trying to pitch their tent there. I know a whole lot of people are trying to leave the place and running away from there. And I think, from my own opinion, it's just a wrong move. The move should be going back in there, not moving away from there. And this is one of the reasons why I believe that this particular broadcast, will have value, will help, us to change our thinking, especially towards the continent of Africa. And so please sit tight, get a cup of coffee or a glass of juice or something like that for those who are in the Caribbean, on part of the one part of the world, and let us journey together in this program today. Today, we will be having, even though I think technology might still be playing some interesting issue on us, but we'll be having a wonderful guest with us today to discuss the topic of today. And our focus today really is looking at, what will the future of Africa really look like? What do we want the future to look like? Or what would it look like? We could look at it from different perspectives, and I can surely tell you that, look, we can make it look like whatever we want it to look like. But doing nothing is not an option, because it will still take a shape. If we leave it and not be deliberate about it, then we can also predict the kind of Africa that we'll have in the next few months, next few years, next few weeks, and things like that. Because it is not just it's not something that we can leave just to chance as well. And so tonight we'll be having with us a guest, a wonderful, wonderful guest. I said, I told her I was going to read her profile and just tell people a whole lot about her. And she's a great sister. Over the years, she is a founder and the president of Realbolt Foundation International, a cutting edge equipping organization that offers leadership, a vision development, consultancy, motivational, and mentoring programs. And also she does executive coaching, if I can remember that very well. Celia also runs a mentoring network for leaders from all spectrum of life. She does that, and a development forum for young and emerging leaders. So and I think that is one of the areas we want to touch on today. In addition, she comes alongside pastoral leaders to help strengthen ministries and equip them for community transformations. And this is one of her passions. She comes from a perspective of, a spiritual perspective as well. She's a fantastic, believer, and she believes also in prayers, especially for leaders. She prays with leaders as well and things like that. Our clientele includes churches, network, network financial networks, political institutions, corporates and educational establishments as well. Reverend Celia is the apostolic leader and founder of Zion's Hill Global, an apostolic prophetic intercessory movement that brings intercession, from around the world together weekly to pray for international affairs, resourcing them through training for effective watchman ministry that transforms the sphere in nations. Zion's Hill also serves the body through providing prayer cover for intercession and watchmen whenever they may be as well. She's an award-winning leader. Celia has been, listed as one of the top 10 most influential, Black Christian women in the UK, and her work extends over 40 countries. And she broadcasts on the TBN UK as the host of the trending show. If any of you have seen it, take the lead. Take the lead. That's the show as well. She's convicted. Everyone has a specific gifting, as well as a sphere of influence within which to effect spiritual change, social reform, and economic development as well. She serves on the board of various international NGOs and also as a director of the National Church Leaders Forum UK, a member of the advisory board for Christians in Politics, as well as a council member of the Evangelical Alliance. She's also a member of a board of trustees of the International Third World Leaders, Association, of which, our founding father, Dr. Miles Monroe, actually founded. We're on the board together in Ituala. She's a sister, she's a colleague, and we've been working together on the subject of leadership for years, traveling from one place to the other. So she's going to be part of this conversation that we want to kick off today. Welcome with me, Reverend Celia Collins. Wow.
Thank you, Mr. JD Modede, Revi.
I must be a fake man there, That is you. Come on. Just say something to the audience. A whole lot of people are all around connected with us tonight.
Hello, everybody. It's such a great privilege and a pleasure to be here tonight, especially with my brother. If there's anything I can say about this man, is that he has been consistent concerning his passion for leadership. It's a driving force. It consumes him. And it's just such a wonderful, creative thought leader and just on the ball. And I love, sir, your focus on Africa. Since I've known you, that's been your heart. That's been your thrust. I know the kind of sacrifices you've made towards to see change happen. And that's the kind of leadership right now that we're looking for. People who are not self-serving, but really, I always say, look for a towel like Jesus taught and not a title. And definitely a towel in your hands and looking for some dirty places to clean up. But it's such a privilege to be here and to just discuss some of the good, the bad, and the ugly of our continent, and of course, the hope that we can have for good change.
That's correct. Thank you so much. Thank you. Well, as I was saying, I said Africa is the last world. If we get this wrong, it's going to be all wrong. It's going to fall over the place. And so every one of us need to contribute. And I know, your passion. I know you've been doing a whole lot of work also in Africa, and especially in Ghana and some other parts as well. Tell us a little bit about that passion that you have for Africa right now as well. Come on.
Like you, I feel like, why not? I'm African. It can't be a mistake that I was born African and bred African. And of course, I see the potential that the continent holds. And with my little view, I can also see some of the challenges. And then I think that it's better to do something than to do nothing at all. And so my little contribution to its transformation is that we're dedicated to raising leaders. We have opportunity to deal with political leaders, financial leaders, CEOs in the public space. And if we can transform thinking, then we can transform action. And also we have invested in young and emerging leaders so that we can again start to produce leaders that are solution oriented very early. Why do we wait for people to get set in their thinking and ways before we start doing something? And so this is our contribution to the continent. Apart from that, we're not just talkers, we do. So we also have
Yes.
advocacy and humanitarian work that we do in some of the remotest villages. At the moment, we have an MOU with World Vision, and we plant, we build toilets, we enter education. We provide boreholes for those who don't have clean drinking water. We work with communities, chiefs, and just for community development. And we also every month send health teams into villages, into the rural areas, so that they, especially our thrust has been children and the elderly. Because what's happened is there's been a mass migration from rural areas because there's no of a lack of money and sustainability. So all the young people have gone and the old people have been left to themselves. So we've dedicated our lives. We have a group of medics that go in every month, look after them concerning high blood pressure, and all of the ailments that has to do with eldership, old age, and village life, and all of those things. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, see, this is the difference. I'm telling you that if we can have pockets of this all over Africa, we can see, Africa imagine. Actually, I came up with a concept some time ago, and I'm still scratching on it. It's called Africa Imagine, and it requires everyone really getting their hands dirty for us to come out of that place that we are. And takes me to our focus today. I know that you're driving all this to somewhere. Look. I said it already. What kind of Africa are we looking to get in soon? Now, I don't want to even use the word future anymore because that future, like, it's here. Yeah. So what kind of Africa? And this is a leadership question. You and I, we talk about this continually. What kind of Africa? Is it the Africa that the Chinese man has decided to give to us? Or the kind of Africa that is going to be really African, that's going to attract people to know us as African? Oh, what kind of picture are we looking at here? And all of us, we got to understand this, because if we don't know, then we don't know what we're going to do. So give us some tips. What do you think?
Well, you know what? The thing about the world that we live in right now is that there's almost a level playing ground. There have been so many seismic changes that now it's an opportunist world. Where we've seen global masters on their knees. Whether it's small business or industry, everybody has, it's not a playing field, but everybody has a chance to do something with their life. And I think if Africa doesn't wake up now, and just like you said, now or never.
Africa doesn't wake up.
Yes.
That means we're sleeping at the moment.
Well, definitely. We're not just sleeping. We're on comatose right now. And one of the things is, I just quickly want to add this. The longer we rely on our political systems to bring us out, the longer we will die quicker.
The longer we rely on our political what?
Systems, because all of our energy, all of our resources, as though politics could solve our problem. Politics is not our problem. Governance is.
Yes, that's true.
And there's a difference between politics and governance.
Two different things, yes.
Politics is about voting and coming up with parties and all of those things. And it's about elections. But the ultimate aim of all politics is governance. Unfortunately, we put all our energy into the politics and forget about the governance, because governance has to do with management. It has to do with stewardship. It has to do with visionary leadership that decides the perimeters in which the future will emerge.
Let me interrupt you a little bit. The thing is that, and I see this all the time, especially within government circles, that they never really stop the politicking. They use the entire time of the government that's supposed to be used for governance to play politics, because politicians only live to win another election. So the moment they win one election, they're already planning how they're going to win the next one and forget about the governance.
That's why they'll undermine even the good that the previous government did for their own good. The thing is that you cannot fix a broken system with the same broken people that created the same broken problem.
Oh my God. Oh, dear, dear.
You
Okay,
know,
I see us. Are we going to be here for the whole month? Because now this is music to our ears. Go on, go on, go on.
you know, and
Please.
while we're doing all that, the world is still going on. Now, one of the things that bothers me about Africa, Africa is what 877 million people can't all be idiots. Let me read some stats for you right now. Oh, it says that, and this is from the UN. It says the continent has 40% of the world's gold and up to 90% of its chromium and platinum. The largest reserves of cobalt, diamonds, platinum, and uranium in the world are in Africa. It holds 65% of the world's arable land and 10% of the planet's internal renewable freshwater source, and Africa is the poorest continent in the world. This thing doesn't rhyme. There is an anomaly. You see, poverty is not an economic problem, sir. Poverty is a relational problem.
Ooh, explain. Thank you.
Because poverty is an equity problem. It's
Poverty
how
is a relational problem.
Yes, it is. It's how one person handles resources, forgetting that whatever choices and decisions they make in the management of that resource impacts another.
That's a picture. That's a picture of the future that we need to be going to, that you're
We
painting
need
for us
to be
right now.
examining. The thing is that the future doesn't just happen. It has to be created. And you cannot create until you look at where you are and where you've been and decide, I don't want this anymore.
Thank
I
you.
don't want this anymore. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah, I get it.
Unfortunately, we have voted people into power who have no conscience. They have no conscience. There's two things that make for a leader. It's character and competency.
Competency, yes.
They may have degrees. They may have wealth. Now, unfortunately, I'm just going to throw this in so that it's a pet thing for me. I'm Ghanaian, born and bred.
Yeah.
And I have seen Ghana come into wealth. And the first thing I ask myself is this: who is teaching the next generation how to steward wealth? I didn't say how to make money. All of our seminars are about making money. It's one thing to make money, it's another to steward wealth.
Thank you.
When you steward, you have a servant's attitude. When you steward, you understand this doesn't belong to me personally. When you steward, there's accountability. When you steward, there's transparency. All of the things that are missing from our governance and our politics. And please, I'm not just talking about our politicians. Who is preparing our leaders to be CEOs of our banks?
That's right.
Of industry, of our public services.
Let me interrupt you. Let me share this with you. Let me share this with you. I see in Africa, and I don't know, maybe you share some line in it. I see in Africa today, all the projects we do in Africa, we have foreigners building everything, and we keep on sending our sons and daughters to universities in Africa. And I'm wondering exactly, what do they do after those universities if everything, all the roads we build are built by Chinese and all this different people from all over the place, and we send students in Africa to do civil engineering, and they don't build any roads? Please explain.
It's because the thing about poverty is this: poverty thinks only of the next meal.
Oh, good. Thank you.
See, it's a catch-22 situation. When I'm poor, I think about survival, and I become selfish. God. So what happened is governments are operating on survival. Remember, those who do not think of the future cannot have one.
That's true. That's
true. So right now, all we're thinking is the Chinese can build us roads. They forget the collateral terms on which those roads are built. Nobody gives anything for free. So because I'm hungry right now and I need roads and I need for my people to know I'm doing something, I don't mind giving you the whole of our energy commission. I don't like giving you access to our mining, because right now all we need is breakthrough. Part of the Africans' problem is short-term thinking. We're not very futuristic because of the pressure that's up to us. For Africa to emerge to be something else, you're talking about the future, we're going to have to be a people that are prepared to take some hardships on the way.
Mm-mm.
Pain right now so that we can glory in the future.
Thank you. Thank you.
There is
Wonderful.
hope. We've
Wow.
seen Singapore do it. I was in
Yes.
Singapore a
True.
couple of months ago. I'm in awe.
Wow.
I'm in
Yes.
awe of a nation that has 5.7 million people that hasn't got the resources that my nation has.
It has. Wow.
Another
Wow.
thing that I've seen us do is we're clawing back to old leadership. We're looking, oh, if Nkrumah was here. No, times have changed.
Changed.
The
Yes, that's
context,
true.
there's no meaning without context. The context has changed. So we have to face, where are we at globally? What are the market forces that are determining the global future of nations?
That's right.
How are we preparing people to face this kind of, I mean, we're still talking about having computer in schools. We haven't even touched AI yet. And the whole world is at AI level.
My God. My God.
The lender, the borrower will always be servant to the lender.
To the lender.
Another thing, sir, is this. I'm looking at our educational curriculum. I don't know where you were brought up. I know I went to school in Ghana.
I went to school in Nigeria too.
We are taught to pass exams. You're asking me about civil engineering? We're taught to pass exams. There's no critical thinking.
That's right.
There's no
Oh,
problem
it is
solving.
pass the exam. That's it. And
Just
forget it.
pass an exam. So that's why I'm saying that you should look at politics alone is to make a mistake. You're going to have to look at the whole infrastructure of the nation, the whole operation. Let's come down to education. I'm going to go to the church in a second. We come down to education. Civic education needs to be introduced as a big thing. Public leadership, preparing people for public leadership has to be a big thing. Come down. I'm going to come to critical thinking. I know I was speaking to someone the other day. He said when he was at uni, he was doing arts, fine art. I think there was a concept he preferred on an exam paper, and his lecturer marked it wrong. This is not what I taught you. Why must I stay with what I was taught? I'm not allowed to think outside the box when we live in a context right now, in a reality where everybody is thinking creatively and innovatively. We schooled ourselves to be dependent on other people supplying for us. You see, leader is as leader thinks. If we're not taught to think critically, to problem solve. But sir, our problems are deep. I'm coming into our traditional culture. Okay. Do you know that when you have a driver or a servant, his job is to tell you what is wrong? You never listen to his solutions.
No, they don't.
You don't listen because we don't think people other than those who hold the post have the solutions. So our whole, the way we operate, our whole culture sometimes can sabotage our future.
Yes.
Let me come down to the church because I
Come
know
on, come on. Please do. Please do.
At least in sub-Saharan Africa, the church is a powerful influence. I come from a nation that professed to be 71% Christian. The church is a powerful influence that has gotten into bed with politics, but we'll leave that. I don't want that honestness out yet. So we're powerful, and I'm looking at our discipleship programs that do not include leadership development, our discipleship programs that do not include civic education, public service. But that's a kingdom thing.
It is.
That's definitely Bible.
Yes.
So our whole liturgy is down to lifting up our hands, singing, dancing, and praying. That's part of the problem. Because now I take, as a leader out there or as a public servant or whatever I'm doing in my community, I have no conscience concerning community. I go to church, I pray, and I expect God to fix it, not understand God will fix it through me. That's right. I don't see why churches cannot advertise on road accidents and road traffic and protocols and observing laws.
Yes. Teach on laws. You know, there was a time of teaching on laws for a whole year. Teaching the people to be law-abiding.
Yes. I did something with the Department of Vehicle Licensing Association or department in Ghana, and the whole of the executive team, except the CEO and the deputy CEO. And one of my research came up with 65% of road traffic accident fatalities are pedestrians, not even people in the car. That means somebody is giving people licenses that don't know how to drive. Somebody is allowing non-roadworthy cars on the road. So what I'm trying to say is this: it's not just about governance and the people sitting there, but all of these people that take off these licenses, they go to church.
They're all in church. All the people working with these politicians are also in church.
All the people that drive badly are also in church. So Africa's problem is a collective one. It's a collective responsibility of thinking, action, conscience, taking responsibility, owning the problem and owning the solution. I don't know if I should go on.
Go on. Please go on. Please go
on. And so if we're going to fix this problem, then we're going to have to look at not yesterday's experiences. We're going to have to come to the place that says, not again. Not again.
Not again.
Once you get to not again, and not look to recreate our first fathers who redeemed us for colonial. We're not in a colonial way. The colonialism has become an economic one, not a physical one anymore.
Yes.
Okay, it's become an intellectual one, not a physical one anymore. So if we're going to be fixing those things, you see, those who live in the past imprison their future.
That's right. Yes.
So again, Africa loves talking heads. We're always debating where we are. No, I don't see much people actioning where we ought to be. I say, let's be intentional about developing leaders.
That's good.
Let's have a quota. And I'm going to go into some things. When I say developing leaders, I don't just mean getting them degrees in political science. The challenge, I'm going to start with politics. The challenge is I can be a good good person with good intentions concerning politics. I can get into politics. But you see, when nobody has mentored me, they have not shared with me the fact that I'm sitting in office, my mother will phone me and say, "Oh, Jide, you remember Mr. Okongo, whose grandfather helped your cousin last time build the house?" Yes, Mom, I remember.
Yes, Mom. So
the moment my mother picked up that phone, I'm telling you, I am guaranteed to break the law somewhere because she's asking me to do a favor that I shouldn't be doing. Who taught me? Who has taught me how to say no? Who has taught me how to handle these things? Sometimes our politicians have more pressure than they've been mentored.
They're mentored to handle.
So they acquiesce, they cave in, no matter what their big things are. What older politician sits with a new politician, not just teaching them how to win an election, but to say these are the things that I had to contend with concerning my conscience. These are the mistakes I made. There has to be an institution that does this conscious mentoring, intentional mentoring, because those who start on the wrong foundation are definitely guaranteed to make a tower of errors. There is nothing as frightening as an active ignorance.
Ooh, active ignorance.
Nothing as frightening as an active ignorance.
Which one is worse? The inactive one or the active one?
The active one, because the active one, I'm making decisions out of ignorance, which is dangerous because I have a bias and I have a confidence that what I'm doing is right. Number two, the politician goes and the CEO and every leader goes to so much time. Who even teaches them to keep their zip up? I tell you why the zip up is not just about sexual morality, because indiscipline.
Wow.
Affects everything. If I cannot keep my zip up, I cannot keep my hands off the money.
True.
I cannot keep myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? Who sits with people? I think about family. I think about politicians who go on the road, because this all adds up. Politicians who go on the road and they leave their children. They leave their family. They are constantly on the road. They're constantly out there in the public face. Nobody is looking after their children. Nobody's looking after families. I'm just saying this the whole thing. It's got to be looked at holistically. There's a domino effect on everything. It's not just about, I don't just got there to be a politician and then I'm a warped one and then only the decisions I make in the office. There's a domino effect on every single thing. You know, I know this is not particularly a Christian show, but there's a reason why God told us in Deuteronomy 17, when you're choosing, electing a public office leader, this is the criteria. He must not gather this, he must be a brother. How many people can truly say we know the politician beyond what they put out in their manifesto? How many of us even look at the manifesto? But let me come to your question also is, how can we all make a difference? How many people vote? The last time Nigeria had a vote, I looked.
Tell me.
And it says 27%.
Yes, it's that bad.
That is terrible.
Yes,
because if I don't put my pen to vote, I'm allowing more of the same to happen.
Yes.
At least let it be a protest vote.
Which is why when you said we all have gone to sleep, it's a very profound statement. The entire nation or the country is sleeping, and we just let a few people who do not know what they're doing just take over and make decisions for our destinies. It's unbelievable. 20% of 200 million people.
27%.
It's a failure.
Let me tell you, I love this Edmund Burke quote. He says this: nobody made a greater mistake than he who did nothing because he thought he could only do little.
Oh my God.
I repeat that. Nobody made a greater mistake than he who did nothing because he could only do little. At least push somebody to say, not on my watch.
Watch. Thank you. Thank you. Doing nothing is not an option for us right now, especially if we want to really change the narrative of our continent. Doing nothing from a family level down to our communities, down to our business organizations, down to wherever we are.
Our church, don't forget.
Yes, down to our churches. Everyone needs to be hands on deck right now, raising leaders. What you said today. Really, we've been pushing, for example, in the country of Nigeria, to have civic. We used to, when I was in school, we had civics on our subjects.
Yes.
They pulled that out. Now we were trying to get that back so that we can teach the subject of leadership, purpose, and all those things again. Look, people go to university right now, they don't have a clue of what the purpose, they don't have no sense of purpose of what life holds for them.
So you see, it starts early. It starts
early.
What is in a man's heart and is his mind is actually affected through his hands.
Yes.
So if you don't change my heart and my mind very early, the Jesuits say this: give me a boy till he's 6 and I'll give you a man.
Wow.
That means that you shape
yes,
very, very early in life. And
so can I now say from that, what you said, that means the way to shape our future then is by shaping our younger generation and preparing them.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
And if I may add this, I'm not just saying, so sometimes we do this, we just say, okay, let the young people come in, let the young people come. How many of our boards do they sit on? Where we respect them, not just to tick a box, but we respect the thought that I would be scared not to put a young person on my board right now. I have no board that I sit on that at least I'm the senior person on that there's no young person, because I don't even understand the world I'm in like they do. So they bring added value. But apart from that, they are learning what it is like. The great things that leaders do is they model something. We are modeling something for them. By the time they get into their own space and they get into senior leadership with a whole lot of responsibility, they understand. They've seen the mistakes Celia made. They'll never make those mistakes again. We've given them a practicum.
Yes.
They've been able to use the sitting on our boards also as a lab. By the time they get there, they are cooked. They are okay. They're at a better stage to produce something. So we have to be intentional about this.
Intentional. That's the word. You see, let me say something. What you just said right now just called in me. And somebody asked me a question once to say, and he saw me somewhere. I was speaking in a government conference somewhere in Africa. And he looked at me, he knew me from childhood. He said, where did you learn all this? I said, I followed Dr. Miles Monroe. He took me everywhere and I sat with him. He didn't call me into any room and teach me stuff, but he took me along with him and I went into boardrooms where he was training and I just sat there. I carried his bag there. All he said is carry my bag, and I carried his bag and I sat down there and I was listening to him and I was listening to everything he was doing and how he was eating the code. And I saw this over and over and over, and it's shaping me. You know, how those things shaping you, you
And
just
you
don't
forgot
realize it.
about the dinner table conversations.
Oh my
Because
God.
these were
Oh my
deep. You
God.
ask questions.
Those are the deepest ones.
These were the
Those were
deepest
the
ones.
deepest
So
ones.
that,
Yes.
think about it. When you go to African culture, we're very good in our traditions. Isn't that how our elders bring up would-be chiefs up and coming? When they want somebody to become a chief in a certain area, the more traditional, there's intentional mentoring. That person is protected. Their worldview is shaped very early. That's what Dr. Miles did with us. We're where we are because of the investment in our lives.
That's
But
right. That's
so,
right.
but it doesn't have to be a classroom thing. Even Jesus didn't do a
Yes.
classroom thing. He called men unto himself.
No.
You know what happens? Because what happens is this: I remember more what is modeled for me. So sometimes something is modeled for you that you even, or your leader makes decisions you don't like, but it becomes theory. The moment you get there, you only remember how they acted and you repeat it. So
You know, someone said,
the mirroring, the whole of our approach, Africa's next 50-year strategic plan has to
please,
definitely have at its core
at its
leadership
core.
development,
Thank you.
defining the kind of leader we want.
Thank you. I think on this point, I think we're going to close this broadcast now. But before we close, I need you to say, shoot one word, one arrow word to African leaders that they're going to take home with this.
African leaders determine
Yes.
the parameters in which the future emerges. We
Wow.
blame
Say that
you.
again. Say
Leaders,
it again.
leaders determine the perimeters within which the future emerges.
Leaders determine
Whatever
the
a
parameters
leader
within which.
does
Yes.
today doesn't
Wow.
end with
Yes.
today. The harvest
My God.
is going to be tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Wow.
We are where we
So
are
that
tomorrow
means,
because of who led us yesterday. I hope it's on your
oh
conscience.
my God. Oh my God.
Because actually,
Oh,
leadership is an effect. It is not a title. It's
it
what
is
you
not.
produce that speaks about your leadership. So I want to appeal to you. I know you have a good intention. What legacy do you want to leave?
Oh God.
Great leaders never leave anything as they found them. They always leave it better.
Yes, they
Do
will
your
leave
best
better.
now. Think about the
Wow.
future. Don't think about
Wow.
now. And definitely don't think about your belly. And definitely
Mm,
tell China to shove off.
thank you. Thank you.
We can
Well, on this
we can
on this
maximize
note,
something with what we've got.
I must say, sister, my God, this is an arrow indeed that you shot out there today. And I'm going to encourage everyone that's joining us on this broadcast today. Please share this broadcast with as many people, especially those within leadership positions. Also share with upcoming leaders as well. And let's listen to this over and over and over. And you and I will find out that we all have a role to play in shaping the future of our continent, especially and all the developing nations as well. We all have a role to play there. There quite a lot of things has been deployed out in this session today, and I want to say a big thank you to Reverend Celia-Collins. Wow, we definitely want you back. I know your schedule is. I've been on a case. You know how long I've been chasing her. It's they're like gold dust these days, right? But I'm going to be on your trail.
It's my privilege.
I know that everyone wants you back, and really, Africa is not done yet. We need this kind of sessions amongst many other people that are doing. They literally say, look, don't just say, well, the little that you're doing, it's a little we're doing here, but that little amounts to much more when we add it to what others are doing there. I have a whole lot of all our partners, all our colleagues, all our trustees on there. I can see Dr. April Ripley. Thank you so much. I can see people from Nigeria, from the Bahamas, from America. Everybody's online tonight, to be part of this. Thank you all so much. Please let's also listen to this broadcast again and over and share with others, and especially people that they're making certain decisions right now. Some people have just got into office after an election. We don't want them to remain politicians. We want them to transit into leadership from this moment. Thank you so much. I look forward to having you. Dr. Pat Morgan, oh my God.
Wow.
It's a full house. We got a full house tonight. We got
some
a full house
salient
tonight.
leaders. Great.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you for
Thank
the
you
great
so
work
much.
you're doing. Please keep it up. Somebody is gonna remember. You may think that you're dropping little seeds, but as an African proverb says, you're able to count how many seeds there are in a melon, but not how many melons there are in a seed. You've
Seed,
sowed
yes.
seeds out there, but there's going to be a great harvest, because all we need is for somebody to trigger something in our thinking and our thought life. Thank you.
Fantastic. Celia, thank you so much. And it's going to be the same time next week, same time, same channel on Etola Europe Leadership Conversation. Please join with us, 9 p.m.